Good evening, and welcome to another edition of Mark Likes to Talk About Things That Are Above His Head and Mess Around with the Fallen Apples of Intelligence that may once have grown. Today, I am looking at Shakespeare. I've got this lovely, massive book, which is very adoring. I like it very much. Shakespeare is probably my favourite writer. I think I like Plato. I like Jane Austen. I like the way she writes. I'm not really sure if I really like her content. I like her writing. Take from that what you will. Yeah, Shakespeare, I just enjoy just how every single point throughout an entire play seems to relate to every other point during the play. It makes me, don't know, envious. I really have no idea how you would write something like this. It's beautiful. It's just poetry for pages upon pages. I mean, you see it sometimes. You know what? I'm just rambling. Uh, I'll get on to what I wanted to read about. I wanted to read about Juliet's death, as cheery as anything, but then again, I guess so is everything that he ever wrote. So, well, say that, you got the comedies. I don't really read them. Yeah, so Romeo has just. Oh, I'm going to go just before he kills Paris. Why not? This is one of my favourite scenes. I got to ask to read it the other month during school, and it was probably the best moment I had during the whole thing. It was the whole time I've been there. That was great. Forgive me if this is terrible. It's been a long day. I must indeed, and therefore came I hither. Good gentle youth, tempt me not a desperate man. Fly hence, and leave me. Think upon these gone. Let them affright thee, I beseech thee, youth. Put not another sin upon my head, by urging me to fury. Oh, be gone. By heaven, I love thee better than myself, for I come hither armed against myself. Stay not, be gone, live, and hereafter say, a madman's mercy bade thee run away. I do defy thy commotions, and apprehend thee for a felon, blah, blah, blah. Wilt thou provoke me? Then have at thee, boy. They fight. Oh Lord, they fight. I will go and call the watch. Oh, I am slain. False, if thou be merciful, open the tomb. Blah, blah, blah. And here's the proper. In faith, I will. Let me pursue this face. Mercutio's kinsman, noble county Paris. What said my man when my betossed soul did not attend him as we rode? I think. He told me Paris should have married Juliet. Said he not, or did I dream it so? Or am I mad, hearing him talk of Juliet, to think it was so? Oh, give me thy hand, one writ with me in sour misfortune's book. I'll bury thee in a triumph grave. A grave? Oh no, a lantern, slaughtered youth. For here lies Juliet, and her beauty makes this vault a feasting presence full of light. Death, lie thou there, by a dead man inert. How oft, when men are at the point of death, have they been merry, which their keepers call a lightning before death? Oh, how I may call this a lightning! Oh, my love, my wife, death, that hath sucked the honey of thy breath, hath had no power yet upon thy beauty. Thou art not conquered. Beauty's ensign yet in crimson in thy lips and in thy cheeks, and death's pale flag is not advanced there. Tybalt, liest thou there in thy bloody sheet? Oh, what more favour can I do thee than with that hand that cut thy youth in twain to sunder his that was thine enemy? Forgive me, cousin. Oh, dear Juliet, why art thou yet so fair? Shall I believe that substantial death is amorous, and that the lean, abhorred monsters keeps thee here in dark to be his paramour? For fear of that, I still will stay with thee, and never from this palace of dim night depart again. Here, Here will I remain with worms that are my chambermaids. Oh, here will I set up my everlasting rest and shake the yoke of inauspicious stars from this world's wearied flesh. Eyes, look your last. Arms, take your last embrace. And lips, oh, you doors of breath, seal with a righteous kiss. A dateless bargain to engrossing death. Come, bitter conduct, come, unsavory guide, thou desperate pilot, now at once run on. The dashing rocks, thy seasick, weary bark, here's to my love. O true hypocrisy, thy drugs are quick. Thus, with a kiss, I die. I love reading Shakespeare. I don't know what it is about him. Well, I said it's just so beautifully written. I really enjoy the iambic pentameter. I don't know if anyone has tried writing in iambic pentameter before, but it is very hard, and a lot of me thinks that he just did it to sound clever. But I know a lot of people back then used to do it, and yeah, it seems like a very popular mode of writing. I've tried it. It's fun, and it doesn't limit you as much as you think it would. At first, you feel quite limited because it's like, oh, I want this sentence to be as long as I want it. But it's not about that. It's about picking the right words, which is poetry all over. So, not really sure what else I really want to say about that, to be honest. I really like lightning before death. I hadn't really come across that phrase before I read this passage, to be honest. It kind of it's this whole kind of Dylan Thomas-esque phrase, really, isn't it? From Do Not Go Gentle. This whole idea that just like the whole idea that we want some kind of last hurrah upon death, upon the end, upon climax. Well, horrible way to phrase that. I suppose the thing is with that as well, you also have to really kind of look at where it kind of comes in the speech. It's almost middle. It's almost as if during the midst of the storm, lightning. It's beautiful. It's beautiful the way it's got nothing to do with what is actually going on, and yet here's lightning. Here's this storm of a speech. It's absolutely gorgeous and breathtaking. And I can't tell whether I personify death because of Shakespeare or it's just something I've been obsessed with my whole life. But this whole idea of challenging death and asking if it is left beauty alone, it just personifies it. It's a whole new level. It gives death its own freaking character. It's gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous. Paramour, palace, everlasting. These words are just gorgeous. Stars. It's almost as if he wrote down all of the words that he thought were the best words in the world. And then he wrote a load of plays and went, Romeo and Juliet. Okay, there's going to be a time in there where I'm going to get my little book out from my back pocket and I'm going to put every gorgeous word I know into one speech. And it's going to blow who's ever mind that reads it. At least that's how I feel. To be honest, I could go on talking about that speech for a long time. A dateless bargain to engrossing death. Wow, just bargaining with death. That is where it's come to, and especially when he's talking about Paris being young youth and his page, etc. It's almost as if he's grown so much, and then he talks to death, and he's just bargaining with it like a ragman. I don't really know what else to say about that, to be honest. Well, I do, and I probably could for quite some time, but I won't. I'm just going to read a little bit of an extract of what I wrote a few weeks ago. Yeah, the days blur into one, don't they? This one is from a dream scene that I've had that I was writing. It was adapted from a dream that I had myself, and then I'd kind of put a little bit of the style of what it is that I was writing into it because I thought the dream was pretty mad, and it was kind of because it's so interpretive. I thought that because everything else that seems to be so blunt, of what I've been writing, I just thought that maybe dreams people can interpret it as they want, and yeah, I don't like telling people things. Anyway, um, left foot. My left foot moves in front of my right, and I stagger steadily. Steering without certainty of my next step, I walk for longer than the length of the carriage, but still there is ground underneath. Sturdily, I continue to walk until I come across a young woman. She appears fixated, and the first thing I notice is that she is taller than me. She does not see me. I approach the woman with caution, but though she is faced half away and half towards me, she does not appear to comprehend my coming. It is only as I get nearer that I see that the woman is grey, made of flesh and looking like stone. The young woman, unblinking, with wild, bright black eyes, is staring out into the mist. She is almost facing me, but does not see me. Everything needs a reason to live, whispers a voice from the encompassing shroud. She carries on looking out into the darkness, an expression of longing clinging to her face, to her eyes. It is as if she is waiting for someone or something to come back to her, and though even the empty darkness has told her that it is not coming back, she will not budge, clinging on to an expectant half smile, wide eyes beaming with expectation. I move past her, leaving her forever in suspended animation, wondering eternally who or what she is waiting for. I walk for what seems like a long time, until I reach a carriage. It looks rustic, even for a steam train. It has no earthly business being here. A cardinal lava shade with a burgundy door. This carriage looks like it died a long time ago. It has been raised from a museum, an exhibit. I think it likes attention. Without longing or reason, I open the door, step inside, and brightly lit, its guts are that of an underground train. Plastic light, deserted and dirty. Darkness beckons at the window. I move past the poles and past the door to the next carriage. The next carriage is also empty, but there is a clear plastic divider between one half and the next. No way of proceeding but through a small hole in the plastic, just large enough for me to fit through. Just me. I squeeze through the hole and open the door to the other side. Stabbing wildly, furiously, the man's eyes are fire. He lunges and I retreat to the back of the train, shaking, agitated. Fear knows no bounds, and soul-wrenching fury creates the only sounds. The wells of passion alive in the man's eyes, peeking out from beneath locks of dirty, untamed hair, juxed only by the poor, his raggedy clothes. I doubt that he knows that he holds a spoon. Wielding it like a man that is protecting all that he knows dear, the pity and fear only seem to disappear as I walk past him and his fragile defense. Yeah, I'll leave it there. There's only one paragraph left, but I'll leave it there. Yeah, what was I thinking when I was writing this? Probably the usual, just death and despair. It's always difficult reading your own stuff after Shakespeare. Don't do that. Note to self, future Mark. Read Shakespeare after your own stuff. At least then you can feel guilty in hindsight rather than in the immediate. Well, anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching this as much as I enjoyed reading it. Pleasure as always. Mark out.